The year I, Tina Lee, married Jason Sullivan. I had just graduated. He was 7 years older, already successful in his career, and treated me exceptionally well. He always put me first. Even during arguments he'd be the first to soften and make amends. Everything changed when veteran actress Zoe Peterson returned to the country. Their interactions gradually increased until I accidentally discovered his fallen journal. Realizing his kindness towards me had all been taught by Zoe. We fought countless times about Zoe. During our final argument, he abandoned me at a snowstorm-ravaged suburban villa. When I finally gathered the resolve to file for divorce, Jason stubbornly refused. Zoe's calls kept flooding in while Jason was taking me to a hot spring retreat in the mountain villa. Through the misty vapors, a woman's tearful voice pierced the steamy silence. Jason, what should I do? The panicked desperation in her voice made my chest constrict. Jason's lips paused millimeters from mine before he abruptly stood, snowflakes dusting his shoulders as he grabbed a robe. His reproachful tone shifted instantly upon hearing her response, softening into comforting murmurs. It's all right. I'm coming immediately. Stay calm. I'll be there soon. When he hung up and leaned in to touch me, I instinctively recoiled. He studied me silently as melting snowflakes vanished into the thermal mist, taking with them the last remnants of my attachment. I sank deeper into the water until submerged, evading his outstretched hand. Chuckling indulgently, he ruffled my damp hair. Tina, a friend's having minor trouble. I'll make up our lost time tomorrow. Okay? No more calls after this. I promise. Could you stay? I asked. She's struggling with local traffic laws after moving back. Don't be difficult, Tina. I watched him remove his wedding band while tightening his robe. My own ring suddenly felt constricting. A strained smile tugged my lips as bitter questions swirled. What kind of friend requires removing marital symbols? Yet my throat sealed shut as he cooed. Tomorrow's all yours, my love. No interruptions. There were countless retorts I could have made. Offer to teach her traffic regulations myself. Question why tomorrow's availability couldn't apply today. But ultimately, I didn't say a word. Through the steam rising from the hot spring, I watched Jason's retreating figure. His steps were hurried. Just as he was about to leave, I suddenly spoke. No need for compensation. Let's finalize the divorce next time we're both free. Jason paused mid-step but didn't turn around. He only said, Tina, don't be childish. His tone remained gentle. As always, like he was pacifying a petulant girl. Our marriage had been arranged between the Sullivan and Lee families. He was 7 years my senior. I'd just graduated when I married him. The ruthless CEO who commanded boardrooms treated me like a fragile princess, always prioritizing my whims. Even during arguments, he'd be the first to apologize. Then I accidentally found his teenage diary. Turned out, all those soothing words and patient coaxing skills were honed through years of on-again off-again drama with his first love, Zoe. After Zoe returned to the country, the almighty Mr. Sullivan stooped to retain a top-tier legal team for her messy divorce. He bankrolled her comeback as a faded star. Each time I confronted him, I'd end up screaming through tears, let's divorce then. Go be with her. And each time, he'd somehow smooth things over. But this time, I meant it. I stayed in the spring until the ache in my chest faded. After changing clothes, I called my driver. Though it was past midnight, the villa's lights blazed when I returned. Jason's car idled outside. The front door stood ajar, golden light spilling onto my hand, along with unmistakable whimpering sounds. An open invitation to witness whatever scene awaited. I didn't move. Zoe's breathy voice floated out, it hurts. Jason, be gentler. Sorry. He rumbled, sighing. I opened my phone camera and pushed inside. Click. Click. The flash illuminated them on the sofa, Jason still holding the antiseptic cotton swab he'd been using to tend Zoe's scraped knee. Pity. For all their theatrics. Even these two respected certain boundaries while legally married. Zoe flinched, pressing closer to Jason. He stood, eyes locking onto mine. I shrugged. Charming tableau. Straight out of a rom-com. Do you method act through daily life? MS. Oscar winner? Tugging Jason's sleeve. Zoe blinked teary doe eyes. MS. Lee. Please delete those photos. I was just injured. And Jason was helping me apply medicine. Zoe's fair skin made the wound on her calf look alarmingly severe, though appearances were deceiving. When Jason had rushed over in such a panic, I'd imagined some catastrophic car accident. Turned out it was just a minor scrape. I didn't move. Jason met my gaze calmly. Tina. Zoe's hurt and too scared to tend to it herself. I was just assisting. Why not go to a hospital? There happened to be supplies at home. My sarcastic tone earned me a disappointed glance. Tina. Don't be difficult. Delete the photos. I lowered my eyes, tapped my phone to erase the images I'd taken, and held up the screen. Happy now? Zoe bit her lip. I'm sorry. Tina, it's just, if those photos leaked, it could harm everyone. Even though Jason and I, you know how people twist things. I walked upstairs and slammed the door before she finished. Opening my surveillance app, I downloaded footage from the past hour. Zoe Peterson was a legendary actress. Even after years away from the spotlight, her fan base remained massive. Since her return to the country, tabloids had buzzed non-stop about her and Jason, the tycoon and his returning first love. A real-life second-chance romance novel. No one knew Jason and I had been secretly married for years. In my younger days, I'd believed couples should confront every issue head-on. We'd fought endlessly over his rumored ties to Zoe. No resolution ever came, just Jason's weary sighs. Tina. He'd say, massaging his temples. Why must you always be so childish? 7 years my senior. Jason was all measured grace and patience. For 3 years of marriage, he'd indulged my every whim. We rarely argued, but was turning a blind eye, playing the obedient fool, the only way to be mature? A knock interrupted my thoughts. Jason's voice, warm as ever, floated through the door. Tina? I pressed my lips shut and turned the lock. He paused, then said gently, sleep well, Tina. I closed my eyes. But all I saw was last week's thunderstorm, Jason abandoning me again to tend to Zoe's latest crisis. I dug up old grievances, accusing Jason of hiding our past relationship. Jason said, so what if it was my first love? It's all in the past. We're just friends now. Please stop making a scene. What followed was an empty home. Thunder roaring outside the window. Sudden flashes of lightning. And a tear-soaked pillow. Pulling myself from the memories. I jerked my eyes open. The crystal chandelier cast warm amber light across the ceiling. I grabbed my phone and texted Lucy, get me connected with a tabloid reporter. At breakfast, only the housekeeper remained. Auntie Jo greeted me, the master left early. He mentioned you wanted bird's nest soup this week. I nodded. After eating, I visited a lawyer, a striking woman with cascading curls and a tailored suit, to draft divorce papers. She promised to fight for my fair share. Leaning against the sofa, I said, just focus on the properties in cash. No need for company shares. Later, my driver took me downtown. Amid the bustling pedestrian crossing, I froze mid-step. Zoe's flawless face dominated the billboard across the street. Passers-by murmured, she hasn't aged a day. Even more stunning than her Oscar-winning days. The screen showed her airport arrival, reporters swarming like vultures. I remembered her breakout role as the nation-wrecking beauty in that period drama decades ago. Those almond eyes and willow leaf brows still held the same lethal charm. now weaponized to seduce my husband. Bodyguards carved a path through the chaos, escorting her to a Maybach. Through the tinted window, I glimpsed a man's chiseled profile. His jade-white hand reached out. Zoe placed hers in it. The door shut, sealing this fairy tale tableau. I recognized the Patek Philippe on that wrist. The same watch I'd given Jason for his birthday. Anyone could pay to have their video on that billboard. The people voting for this are probably Zoe's fans. At the end of the video, there's a caption, "No matter what, we just want you to be happy." The girl standing next to me watching the video squealed. This is straight out of a romance novel. The Oscar-winning actress returns home to divorce, only to meet the devoted male lead who's been secretly waiting for her. After all the twists and turns, it's still you in the end. Sniff, Zoe. You deserve happiness. I nearly burst out laughing. The girl beside me shot me a sideways glare, clearly annoyed. I simply smiled. What if her happiness comes at someone else's expense? What if that man already has a wife? Wouldn't that make her a homewrecker? The fan flushed crimson, protesting. That's impossible. Zoe would never. She's wonderful, if anything happened. She must have been tricked. I lowered my gaze without arguing. Maybe. When my driver arrived, my phone buzzed, a message from attorney Zhang who'd assisted me earlier, draft agreement ready. Further revisions pending mutual discussion. After forwarding the document to Jason, I had the driver take me directly to his corporate office. The unfamiliar receptionist apologized. Without appointment. I can't let you see Mr. Sullivan. May I ask your relation to him? His wife. A snicker came from nearby. A 20-something guy smirked, muttering to his colleague. Delusional much? The real Mrs. Sullivan's upstairs right now. Who does she think she is? Might as well claim I'm Jason's brother. Unfazed, I told the receptionist. Never mind. I'll call him. I dialed Jason's executive assistant, John Ray, my former junior from college. He hurried downstairs immediately. Senior. I nodded. As the elevator doors closed, he hesitated. Ms. Peterson's here. Jason's meeting with producers. He glanced meaningfully at the conference room door. Not sure if I closed that properly earlier. I understood his hint. Outside the meeting room, voices carried clearly through the cracked door. A director sounded uneasy. Mr. Sullivan, we followed proper selection protocols, after all. Zoe had been out of the spotlight for years. Not sure if she can. Jason's tone brooked no argument. Mr. Sullivan, the director hesitated. Jason quoted a figure, 20 million. The director pivoted instantly, absolutely. I've seen Zoe's craft firsthand. Even if she's rusty. Today's starlets couldn't hold a candle to her. I stepped back, partially closing the door. When Jason walked the producer out, I lingered nearby watching Zoe stride beside him. Their effortless coordination screamed marital harmony. He glanced up, startled. Tina, what brings you here? I remained silent, catching Zoe's fleeting irritation. Tina. Zoe beamed. Jason helped me tremendously today. We're grabbing dinner, perfect timing. Join us. Her crescent eyes held genuine delight. No trace of awkwardness. Sure, I said. Our trio looked absurd in the romantic bistro. Zoe slid the menu toward me after ordering. Sorry, Tina. I didn't know your preferences. You choose. I stayed still. Jason took the menu, his demeanor softening. I'll handle it. He finalized orders, quietly instructing the server about my dietary restrictions. Across the table, Zoe smiled wistfully. You're so lucky, Tina. Jason's become so attentive. Back when I made him memorize my favorites, she trailed off at Jason's cough. My bad, oversharing. I sipped my drink. No offense taken. When the crab arrived, Jason wordlessly took my plate, deftly cracking shells. Zoe's smile faltered. I observed her over-interlaced fingers as she stabbed her salad. He pushed the cleaned meat toward me, meticulously wiping his hands. This version of Jason used to enthrall me, the aloof aristocrat melting only for me. Now knowing Zoe had molded this behavior, bile rose in my throat. Tina! Jason suddenly stood up. I glanced at the person across the table. His handsome face flushed crimson like sunset clouds, the previously angular cheeks beginning to swell. There was yam in the dishes? I'm sorry. I forgot about your allergy. Let's go to the hospital. Zoe froze before abruptly covering her face with her hands. No. Don't look at me. Jason reacted swiftly, draping his suit jacket over her head. I won't look. Let's get you to the ER. Zoe stumbled when standing. Without hesitation, Jason scooped her into his arms and rushed out. I watched this primetime soap opera unfold before me, observing the genuine panic on Jason's face, the way he cradled his precious burden without sparing me a single glance. Picking up my phone, I texted a paparazzi contact. The feast remained untouched. No sense letting good food go to waste. Lowering my gaze, I spared a piece of yam from the dish Zoe had sampled earlier. Perfectly braised. Delicious. Jason returned while I was lounging on the sofa with a face mask. Precisely at 8 o'clock. Perfect timing with the new episode of The One That Got Away airing. The female lead tearfully demanded, "Didn't you miss me even a little all these years?" The male lead growled through clenched teeth, "Miss you? I've been going insane missing you." His contorted expression made me snort laugh. The door creaked open then. Can't blame me for noticing his misbuttoned shirt immediately. I returned my attention to the melodramatic show I treated as comedy. Tina, I didn't mean to abandon you at the restaurant. It was an emergency. Zoe's an actress. Her face is her livelihood. Can't risk scarring. Tina. I shifted into a more comfortable position. I emailed you the draft divorce agreement this afternoon. Let's finalize it tonight. Exhaustion lined Jason's features. We're not getting divorced. Tina. He stepped closer, arms reaching. The faint scent of gardenias clung to him. My eyes lifted. The red mark on his neck glared unmistakably. My hand moved faster than conscious thought. The slap echoed through the room. Jason's cheek bloomed scarlet. He blinked, anger absent as he bowed his head. I'm sorry. Does your hand hurt? It's all my fault. Tina. His hand enveloped mine. The man lowered his gaze, massaging my reddened palm with measured pressure. Feel better now. Tina? I sometimes wonder if I shouldn't have entered the study that day. Maybe then I wouldn't have stumbled upon Jason's journal. Wouldn't have opened Pandora's box. Wouldn't remember Zoe during every tender moment. Remember how young Jason repeatedly wrote after arguments with Zoe, "My girlfriend's feelings come first. Fix the emotions. Fix everything. Never argue about right/wrong when angry. Apologize immediately if wrong. The early bird may get the worm. But does the latecomer enjoy the shade or suffocate in perpetual shadow?" I jerked my hand away. Sign the divorce papers. Let's end this. Jason refused the divorce. I refused to engage. This created the perfect opening for Zoe's visit. I didn't offer tea. She didn't wait for invitation. Settling comfortably on the sofa. Tina. Zoe smiled tearfully. Jason says you're bothered about our history. But that's all past. What matters is building your present. I sipped my tea silently. Back then, she continued wistfully, he never apologized first. We fought constantly. Only after our worst fight did he finally, her voice broke. By the time he learned to bend, we'd already broken. Tina, do you know how I envy you? Then he must not have loved enough. I observed. Why else does he always apologize first now? Zoe's mask slipped momentarily. A phone vibration rescued her. Jason's messaging. I'll talk sense into him. Don't stay angry. After she left, I texted Jason, fireworks tonight? My first concession in months. His reply came instantly. The holiday lights would be bright. The seaside crowd gathered together. From a distance, vendors with their stalls set up beautiful lanterns, calling out to customers as the aroma of various snacks filled the air. The noise of the crowd was deafening. I've always loved these vibrant, lively scenes brimming with the warmth of everyday life. When I first married Jason, I thought he was wonderful in every way, except he lacked that very human touch. He was always buried in work. Later, I gradually filled our monochrome home with splashes of color. Even this man who knew nothing beyond work began cherishing our weekends. Back then, my goofy smiles practically bubbled over with happiness. Growing old with Jason became one of my life's greatest aspirations. At the bustling night market, Jason shielded me through the throngs, buying whatever I pointed at without complaint. We resembled the most ordinary couple in love. As 8 o'clock approached, the crowd surged toward the beach. Jason held my hand, leading me to the observation deck. Below us, people began the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fireworks exploded into the sky, their brilliance momentarily eclipsing the stars. The crowd's cheers rose like crashing waves. I looked up. Jason stood behind me, his hands gently covering my ears against the noise, such thoughtful tenderness. 21-year-old Jason had watched similarly spectacular fireworks with Zoe. Amidst the roaring celebrations, he'd stared at her profile and suddenly burned with the desire to marry her. Then he'd said, "I love you, Zoe. I love you." Listen to that. I laughed until tears spilled over. As the last firework faded, the noise gradually subsided. Jason's phone ringtone grew louder in the sudden quiet. I met his gaze. His lashes lowered. Our eyes locked, and I could clearly see my own reflection in his. "It's her calling," I stated flatly, my voice calm. "Let me guess the excuse this time. Appliances she can't figure out? Got lost in unfamiliar streets? Or maybe, stalker fans bothering her?" Jason furrowed his brows, avoiding my gaze. The phone kept ringing. I smiled gently. "Stop lying to yourself, Jason. First loves are unforgettable, you're still holding on." "That's not true." Jason looked up urgently. Ignoring him, I grabbed his phone and answered. Zoe's voice pierced through the background noise. "Jason? Jason! Someone's knocking on my window." I'm terrified, her trembling sob hung in the air. "Jason, could it be a stalker?" I handed the phone back calmly. "Go. We'll sign the divorce papers when you return." He remained motionless. Zoe's weeping intensified, the Oscar-winning actress even made crying sound poetic. Jason clenched his jaw but stayed silent. I'd spent years begging him to choose me. Now, I texted him. His phone buzzed. "Look." The screen displayed paparazzi photos from recent weeks. I grinned. "Let's avoid public scandals. Neither of us wants these leaked. Right?" He exhaled heavily. "Tina, we need space." I watched him leave, then messaged the paparazzi. The reply came swiftly. "He's heading to Zoe's." The next day marked Zoe's comeback film premiere. Naturally, her protector had to attend. I refreshed my social media, watching her trending hashtags skyrocket. The live-streamed event buzzed with hype, Zoe's return, Jason's presence as investor. When I arrived, the crowd roared. Initially, Jason lingered in shadows, but the director kept maneuvering him toward Zoe until they stood side by side. I checked the live viewer count, then switched back to social media. The top comment blared. Jason and Zoe, destiny reunited. Hashtag Theric Malalia just got a hot face. Hashtag sis check out Jason S. Watch. Hashtag the world is one big romance novel. Hashtag Zoe Jason. Hashtag I approve this marriage. Their names exploded across trending tags. Thousands flooded the live stream to ship the couple. A reporter suddenly stood up during the press conference. Miss Peterson. Rumors claim you and Mr. Sullivan were classmates. If true, does his strong support for your career suggest undisclosed history? Jason's expression frosted over. The director wiped his brow. Zoe earned this role through pure talent. When she won her Academy Award years ago, I'd already considered. I snorted. Pure talent. My ass. The quiet laugh still caught Jason's attention from the stage. Our eyes met as I waved my phone, mouthing two words with deliberate clarity: divorce. Or, I'll expose everything. Emotional infidelity during marriage. These leaked photos paired with the pitiful wife narrative. Dropped at peak publicity moment? Nuclear fallout. Whether for his own reputation or his precious first love's future. He couldn't risk it. My screen lit up. Jason's reply burned through. Fine. The divorce agreement signing felt eerily calm. Sunlight fractured across marble floors as Jason slid his laptop toward me. Tina. I know you're angry. But hear me out. Company shares are better long-term than. No. He meant well, stocks outperforming cash reserves. Dividends versus inflation. But I had plans. Jason's gaze remained steady. All boardroom composure. The terms are finalized. His assistant materialized with documents. I signed without hesitation. His pen hovered. Last birthday, his voice softened. I wished to grow old with you. Wishes die when spoken. Jason. He smiled faintly. Ink blooming beneath his signature. Okay. It was an arranged marriage from the start. Let's begin anew. This time, we'll properly go through the entire process of getting to know each other and falling in love. Agreed? I ignored him. Simply tucking away the signed divorce papers. Be punctual tomorrow. Jason. During the mandatory waiting period, I couldn't bear staying with Jason and bought a ticket abroad. When the final divorce appointment arrived, Lucy came to pick me up. Jason opened the car door for me, nodding politely at my sister while reminding me, Tina, eat more fruits and vegetables. Those dark circles are getting worse. I pretended not to hear, raising the window as Lucy accelerated. 2 blocks later, my phone buzzed with Jason's message. I'll have Mrs. Joe prepare your favorite snow fungus soup this afternoon. At a red light, Lucy side-eyed me. So decisive? I thought you might waver. I flipped my phone face down, forcing a smile. Lucy, I've got a surprise for you. True to his divorce declaration, Jason kept sending gifts that perfectly aligned with my tastes. I directed my assistant to dump them all in storage while preparing my art exhibition. The formerly busy CEO now loitered around my gallery like some idle street punk, silently watching me work through the windows. He only spoke when I left, let me drive you. I refused every time. Working consecutive all-nighters for the exhibition eventually took its toll. I collapsed without warning, waking to sterile hospital walls. As I struggled upright, the movement roused Jason, who'd been dozing while holding my hand. Tina! You're awake. His voice cracked with relief. I studied the man I'd once admired for his unshakable composure, that elegant poise resembling jade pillars among pine trees. Now he looked haggard. His collar rumpled. You stayed the whole time? Yes. He pressed my palm to his stubbled cheek like handling porcelain. Let me stay with you. You've lost weight, skipping meals again? You never got sick after we. His throat bobbed. How can I walk away? I neither agreed nor refused, simply smoothing his wrinkled collar. This slight softening led me to accept when he later asked me out. Jason's reconciliation attempts were clumsy. The man who'd never needed to chase anyone now fumbled through courtship 101. Even when Zoe broke up with him, He never backed down. Even if it meant being left with lingering regrets. He never considered reconciliation. After dinner, Jason took me for a walk along the beach. His hand instinctively reached out before he froze mid-motion. Suddenly aware of his own gesture, my gaze lingered on his suspended palm as I smiled faintly. He withdrew his hand, expression clouded with melancholy. We strolled silently along the shoreline, salt-kissed breezes caressing our faces. The serenity mirrored those stolen moments from our early days of love. Then distant engine roars shattered the tranquility. I looked up just as fireworks exploded across the night sky. Tina, I'm sorry. I turned to find Jason's eyes reflecting the pyrotechnic spectacle. Their usual intensity softened into liquid starlight. Tina. He began. My first love happened at 16. I abruptly interrupted. We hid our relationship until coming of age at 18. Youthful arrogance made us believe love required grand gestures. He once staged massive fireworks that got his credit card suspended by his parents for a month. Jason's gaze dimmed like dying embers. We hung longevity prayers at temples for each other. Shouted declarations over supercar engines. Talked until dawn on deserted beaches. My voice remained steady as I continued. 2 years into our marriage, I ran into him downtown. He texted saying he missed me. I never replied. Ex-lovers can't be friends. My eyes met Jason's unflinchingly. Back then, I feared upsetting you. Believed decent exes should stay buried. I assumed everyone shared this understanding. My laugh held no mirth. But apparently not. My issue was never the past. It's your current ambiguous dealings with former flames. Color drained from Jason's face, his throat working soundlessly. Though your situation differs, I conceded. There's distance between amicable separation and betrayal. Homewreckers might dodge karma's needles, but society always condemns moral bankruptcy. Squinting at the churning waves, I smiled beatifically. From now on, she'll become your most unforgettable first love. The hashtags #Zoe Homewrecker, #Jason Secret Marriage, and #Zoe bought her role dominated trending topics within hours. Thousands flooded Zoe's live stream, their vitriolic comments crashing the broadcast within minutes. Jason Sullivan scrambled to contain the PR disaster. But nothing could stop his company's stock from plummeting. Not that there was much to salvage. The photos, messages, and timeline laid out the affair with brutal clarity, exposing Zoe's entanglement with a married man before her own divorce was finalized. Paid trolls tried muddying the waters, but netizens saw through the smokescreen. While Jason battled financial ruin, I sat munching snacks in Lucy's corporate office. My sister barely looked up from her documents as I opened another chip bag. "Must you eat that here?" she snapped. I grinned, offering her a crisp. "Enjoying my gift, sis?" Lucy shot me an amused glance over her paperwork. Immensely. Jason's corporation now resembled wounded prey circled by sharks. Corporate warfare can get downright dirty. And my sister happened to be a master schemer. My initial nudge had unleashed a tsunami of damaging rumors, each more creatively vicious than the last. The man appearing on financial news looked decades older than the polished executive we'd known. Zoe fared no better. Her acting career imploded before new projects could launch. I encountered her outside my gallery weeks later. The once glamorous actress materialized in sunglasses and surgical mask, clutching my wrist with trembling hands. "Ms. Lee," she choked out, tears streaking mascara down swollen cheeks visible beneath the shades. This was all my fault. I was delusional, greedy, pathetic. "Please, I'll disappear. Just let me go." Her sunglasses came away to reveal eyes puffed from crying, cheek violently discolored, exhaustion etching premature lines, a broken doll clutching at dignity's shreds. I dabbed her tears with a tissue. She seized my hand desperately. "I can't go back to how things were before fame. I just wanted my freedom, my career." Tilting her chin up, I studied the damage the split lip poorly concealed under layers of concealer. The fading bruise along her jawline. Jason's parting gifts. No doubt. Freedom's expensive. Isn't it? I mused, pocketing the sunglasses. Tell me, Zoe, what's your life worth now? Her breath hitched as my driver pulled up. Clean yourself up, I advised, sliding into the car. The real performance starts tomorrow. The town car glided away, leaving the crumbling star in its wake. Through the tinted window, I watched her sink to the curb, face buried in shaking hands. Lucy would approve of this casting choice, the perfect fallen idol for our next act. After all, redemption arcs make for excellent television. Please, her tears kept flowing no matter how she wiped them. I withdrew my hand and smiled. Zoe, you reap what you sow. Go ahead, hit me if it'll make you feel better. Anything's fine. Tina, I beg you. I know you hate me. Do whatever you want to me. It was my fault for interfering with your relationship with Jason. I was wrong. Wrong. My voice remained gentle. I don't hate you. Truthfully, I'd never hated Zoe. At worst, I'd found her irritating. She wasn't the one who'd sworn eternal love to me. She wasn't the marriage breaker. She wasn't the one who owed me deepest remorse. From beginning to end, only one person deserved my hatred. Now that karma's come around, I've let go of both love and resentment. I looked at her and smiled. Zoe, if you trespass again, I'll call the police. I was already overseas when Jason's empire collapsed. At the airport, Lucy asked, not staying to watch the show? If I were you, I'd dress to the nines and personally congratulate his bankruptcy. No money. No lover, might as well push him to stroke out. Let him grow old getting slapped by nursing home staff. I gave her a thumbs up. That's why you're my hero. Lucy chuckled. Too bad Professor Goldstein insisted I attend his symposium. Can't refuse the big shots. I shrugged playfully. Do me a favor, send him congratulatory flowers from me. A month later, an unknown number called my phone. I rolled over on the couch, listening to my ringtone play its full melody. Didn't pick up. 2 hours later, Lucy called. After brief pleasantries, she said, Jason's looking for you. Told him you're abroad. Oh, you'll love this, he's drowning in debt after liquidating everything. Saw him today and genuinely feared he'd try to go down with me. I snorted. And? He just asked about you. Left a box he claims is yours. Didn't open it, it's in my office desk. Remind me when you're back. I hummed non-committally, steering the conversation to lighter topics. 6 months later, I surprised Lucy at her corporate headquarters. Her secretary escorted me upstairs. You should have told me your flight time. Lucy scolded, though her eyes sparkled. Wouldn't dream of bothering the CEO. I placed a gift-wrapped parcel on her desk. Brought souvenirs. She accepted it with mock gravity. I'll open these with Mom and Dad later. Let's see who gets the best present. Suddenly remembering, she opened her drawer. Almost forgot, this is for you. A small velvet box emerged. Jason gave this to you. One glance, and I knew exactly what was inside. When we broke up, I made sure to return it properly. I didn't take it. Just smiled, help me sell it. Lucy was taken aback. She picked up the box and opened it. Let me see, a ring. I added the wedding ring. Seriously, Lucy shook her head, laughing. Sold everything else. Yet kept this particular thing. Not exactly cheap. I said. We'll split it 50-50 after selling. Thought seeing it might soften your heart a little. I shrugged. Wasn't me who owed apologies in that relationship. Lucy beamed and threw an arm around me. Come on. I'm treating you to something good tonight. Deal. We exchanged knowing smiles. Outside the window, sunlight streamed through perfectly.